composed classic narrative poem, an ominous bird takes roost above the narrator's comforting fireplace, constantly disturbing him with one cryptic word: nevermore. Unable to decipher its meaning, the narrator is driven mad. What does this word foretell for you in the coming year? What things, what people, what aspects of yourself will you set aside to encounter nevermore? Welcome, fellow Mooncats, to the penultimate video in a spectacular readathon taking us all the way up to Halloween night. Each of these readings is drawn from an element associated with the hallowed evening. The custom of divination at this time of year is a rich tradition, and it's well known to be an auspicious time for communication with spirit. And so we continue the tradition with tonight's reading, Quoth the Raven, Nevermore. In the center of the table, you can see 3 different ravens. Raven number 1 is peacefully perched. Raven number 2 is squawking. And Raven number 3 is in flight. I'll give you a moment now to choose your raven. If you are finding it difficult to choose just one, know that it is perfectly all right to choose more than one, even if you choose all 3. For those of you who chose option number 1, or the Perched Raven, this is your reading. In the reading Quoth the Raven, we are deciphering the meaning of the word nevermore as it applies to you at this time. And so the question is, what are you transitioning through? What is changing in your life? What situation or person or elements of yourself are you leaving behind to return to nevermore? And so I have created a tarot structure, and I will lay out that structure for you, and then we're going to turn to an oracle card for guidance as we go into the tarot to get the full details of your reading. And so in card number 1, this is, what is the issue? What is holding you down that you need to release? In other words, what is the thing that we need to drop and carry forward nevermore? In card number 2, what is the cause of this issue? What in the recent past has created this issue? And in card number 3, what is your weakness? What is your weakness that allows this issue to take hold? And in card number 4, what is your first step towards healing? And then in card number 5, what is your way out, your way forward, the way to leave it behind? Okay, and then to begin, let's get an oracle card for you from the Halloween Oracle. You have the Skull of Darkness, which is talking about blind spots. Now, the interesting thing about the Raven is that the Raven is a psychopomp, which is to say, the Raven travels as a guide between the physical world and the spiritual world, and they guide us when we need to do the same. So as we talk about peering into our blind spots, we're talking about shadow work, looking at the things that we usually leave hidden. And the Raven is a perfect companion for shadow work because the Raven can guide us in through the shadows. What this card is saying is that this is a time when we need to peer into the darkness and uncover those things that are usually hidden. And usually these are things that are very hard to see because it's aspects of ourselves that maybe we don't like or appreciate. Maybe aspects of ourselves that we were taught not to like or appreciate. But there is value in uncovering those parts of yourself and allowing them to come forward. And so the idea here would be to uncover those blind spots and find the diamond in the rough, find what is hidden in there that might be of value or use to you. And so it can be very difficult to identify, and a place to start would be to look at your life and see what negative experiences are repeating for you. And then if you examine those negative experiences, you may find what is reoccurring in your energy or in your behavior that is drawing this negativity to you. So it seems that there is some shadow work afoot. And we'll begin to understand the nature of that as we go into the tarot reading. Card number 1 is the 5 of Wands. This is a card of continuous conflict. This isn't just like having a fight going on with one person. It's like going on all around you and constantly. It's like you're in constant disagreement with everyone. And this is the issue at hand, the issue that we're addressing that must be left behind. So we're going to look ahead and see what is causing this conflict, this constant conflict for you. You have been through a tremendous and severe disappointment. This could be the loss of someone, or it could be defeat. It could be a failure of some kind that you have experienced, and it's caused you great sorrow and grief. It has caused you such sorrow, and that this may be why you're just taking it out on all of the people around you, with nowhere else to put your feelings. You may be putting them into into the arguments you're having with everyone around you. So what is the weakness that is allowing the negative behavior? Now, the Three of Pentacles is a card of collaboration, of working together, and it's showing up as a weakness. So this would mean that this is an area of your life to focus on, is how can you collaborate well with others and get along well with others? It can be a very difficult thing if you're an introverted person, to navigate that. But developing that is a way to heal the difficult situation that you're in now. So what is the first step that you need to take into order to heal this issue? And that would be the Ten of Swords. It could be going back to that disappointment, the card of disappointment, that you have been avoiding the feelings involved with that pain that you've been through. Each and every one of the swords must be acknowledged. The pain that you're going through and the difficulty of it. Whatever negative emotions are involved, they all need to be acknowledged and worked through. And when you have done that, then you're on the road to healing yourself from the experience. Remembering that the experiences that we are given always have value. Pain has a purpose. It creates expansion for your soul. And I know that that is a difficult thing to hear, and yet the best way to recover from the situation is to find that opportunity within the experience for your soul to expand. What can you take from it? What good can you take from the experiences that you've been through? When you find that, when you resolve those negative emotions by finding that thing by finding whatever the value was in the experience, this helps us to accept what we've been through. This helps us to process what we've been through. And then you don't have this need to spill it out onto all the people around you, because you're no longer in conflict yourself inside. And then finally, what is the way out? This is to just celebrate. So, especially if you're dealing with a failure. So I want to go back to consider that too. Especially if you're dealing with a failure. One way to recover is to think back through your life to the moments of success. The moments of acclaim. Where you've done well and were praised for your work and what you've done. Collect those moments together like a scrapbook in your memory. And any time that you're feeling low and feeling down, recall all the good things you've done. Recall all the times that you have succeeded and all the times that you've beaten the odds. Recall those times, and you'll begin to feel yourself in that energy of abundance. And then when you are in the energy of abundance, it always attracts more abundance. Okay, so our final guidance, we're going to turn to the Season of the Witch. I get some cards from the Oracle deck there. And your first card is Third Harvest. It says, Samhain is the time of year when it was time to gather up the final harvest of the season and prepare for the coming winter. And so in this picture, that is what she's doing. It's the final harvest. So a lot of hard work and preparation went into, first of all, growing the food, and then second of all, preserving it, collecting it and preserving it. And it was necessary work in order to survive the winter. And that is like what you're doing with your happy memories. You're harvesting them and storing them so that you can survive through the harsher, more bitter experiences, the disappointments. And then you can look at all the hard work you've done, and you can be proud of the place where you are, because you have absolutely had moments of success in your life. And the final card is Graveyard. So the card of the Graveyard speaks of a situation that is over and done, and there's nothing more to do about it. And so this hails back to that disappointment. Whatever the severe loss or disappointment was in your life, it's done, and it can't be undone. And so it's time to put that to rest. If you can surrender the idea of control. So it was not up to you how this thing turned out. And it is not up to you now to try and fight against it or change it. But only thing that you can do is accept the situation as it is now. This has something, the disappointment that you've experienced, whatever nature that took, it's come to its end. So you can think of this as it's in God's hands now. Or if you don't like to use that term, the main idea is that, the universal forces have taken over. It's fate, it's destiny. It's not in your hands anymore. Sometimes we need to be challenged in the way that a thing ends to break through. We don't have a tower card here, but if you could consider that imagery, that need to have that lightning bolt strike and break through the foundation that's false. And so sometimes when we do have a challenging ending, it is because it is necessary for us to grow and change. But this growth and change cannot happen without that lightning bolt. So it takes an extreme experience for you to suddenly be capable, for anyone to suddenly be capable of seeing the world from a new perspective. And that is the situation that you're in. So you are leaving behind this, You are leaving behind this fight-like energy where you're just constantly in arguments with everyone around you. You are so forgiven for having been through that, because it is understood that you have been through a difficult, hard, painful time and had no other way to deal with it. But you're ready now to move forward. You're ready to put that to rest. And the way forward involves letting go of the thing that you wanted that you're not going to have. Whether that is a relationship that was lost, a career that you fought for, or some creative endeavor that you were trying to make happen. The challenge now is to accept where you are and find your way forward. And you need to make peace. So your first step is going to be in making peace with others and finding the way back to being able to collaborate well with those around you. And you can do that if you confront the painful experiences you've had and allow yourself to acknowledge and heal those painful emotions that have resulted. And then it's time to celebrate the good things about you. Instead of dwelling on all the sorrow and the sadness and the fighting, think about what are the good things about you and celebrate those things. Be proud of those things. Be happy about those things. Collect those things and put them in your mental scrapbook. And then truly, when you can look at the experience that you've been through and take from it a valuable lesson that you have learned or valuable knowledge about yourself. If you can do that, then you can be at peace and finally allow this whole difficult experience to become a memory that has been put to rest. All right, that concludes your reading of Quoth the Raven. I hope you found something valuable here, and if you did, please select the like button at the bottom of the screen. If you would like to see more Halloween-themed readings, then go to my channel, Mooncat Tarot, and look for the Halloween Readathon playlist. I will continue to post one new reading each night up until the night of Halloween. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video. For those of you who chose the Screeching Raven, or Raven number 2, this is your reading. Welcome to Quoth the Raven. In this reading, we are going to look at what elements of your life, or what people, or what aspects of yourself are you leaving behind to come across again, nevermore. The raven is a well-known psychopomp. That means it is a creature known to guide us between the physical world and the spiritual world. And so the raven is a perfect companion as we seek to find the parts of our life experience or the parts of ourselves that are no longer serving us. I have laid out 5 tarot cards, and I have given them each a purpose. And so I will explain the structure to you now. And before we turn them over, I'm going to seek some guidance from the Halloween Oracle And the card that we pull from that oracle will help to give us a general theme overall the reading. Okay, so in card number 1, this card is the issue, the weight that is holding you down, or the thing that needs to be left behind. And in card number 2, this is a card of your recent past or past influences that have created this issue. What did this come out of? And then in card number 3, what is your weakness that makes you vulnerable to this issue? And in card number 4, what is the next step you should take? What is the first step towards healing? And in card number 5, what is your way out? How do you leave this behind? So let's get our oracle card for the overall theme. And your card is Death. Now, this card is not literal. It's speaking of transformation. It's speaking of how we go through phases of life that change us. And then the person that we were is no longer the person that we are. Let's see if I can get that in there. There we go. And so this isn't the death of a life, it is the death of a quality. It is the death of a certain experience. For example, if there are repeating experiences in your life of the same kind of negative, the same kind of negative experience repeating, it would be the death of that cycle. Or the death of a behavior that isn't into your best interest, or the death of a attribute of yourself that isn't serving you well. So let's begin by looking at our first card to see what is this issue that we're going to leave behind. And here we have the High Priestess card. Now, generally, this would be a very positive card about a strong spiritual connection. But since we've been asking about what is an issue that needs to be left behind, so there are a couple of things coming forward here. And one is that there has been a struggle with the question of spiritual issues or spiritual questions of the reality, maybe of the shape of this world and what lies beyond. There's been a wrestling with trying to understand that. That is a state of conflict. This is not to say that it's bad or wrong to be asking those questions, but if it has created some anxiety, and if it has created angst, then it is the anxiety and the angst involved in that situation that's going to be left behind. The other possibility here that I'm looking at is the way that she sits on her throne and lifts herself up. Seeing herself as above others would be a negative aspect of the card. So it could be that you have been in a habit of perceiving yourself to be above other people. Let's look on to see if we get any confirmation for that, and why this would be. So we're looking at the influences that have created this quality or this negative aspect. And I've pulled the Empress card. And the Empress is, again, generally a positive card that is dealing with abundance and creativity. But I'm looking in this picture and I'm seeing a mother who's very much in control of her daughter. And so there could be an energy here of an overbearing parental figure who has this figure has provided for you in every way to meet all of your physical needs. But one thing wasn't given, and that was approval. And so there is this sense of lack, or this almost desperation for approval. Card number 3 reveals your weakness. And here we have the Chariot. So the Chariot can be the energy of a conqueror who moves swiftly, let's say, if I'm keeping to the physical, then I would say swiftly through territories and conquering the people there. But speaking to a modern life and speaking to a modern experience. So this is again a reinforcement of the idea of considering yourself to be above others, to be more worthy than others, and having no qualms about dominating others on your way to win. And this card, in its negative aspect, which, even though it didn't come up upside down, it was in that placement. And so, in its negative aspect, is an obsession with a goal, an obsession with reaching it, and not caring who you run over to get there. And this is the weakness that is in you because of never having felt approved of. And so no matter how much you accomplish, it doesn't feel like it's enough. And you're always striving for that These things are not said for you to judge yourself, but to only reveal them. So to remember that when we look at shadow work, we're looking at something that grew within us because of an original pain or hurt. And the original pain or hurt here was a lack of approval. And because you have never felt accepted, because you have never felt approved, there has grown within your psyche this desperate need to pursue that. And it is time to put that away and to seek it nevermore. Going on to the 4th card, we're looking now at how do we take a step towards healing? How do we heal this aspect of ourselves? And here we have the Emperor card. So this is someone who is not as high and mighty. Although I'm saying this and it's the Emperor. But He rules from logic and well-measured choices and plans. And so his goal is not to praise himself. His goal is to be fair with all others. So he wants, instead of focusing on personal acclaim, his focus is on financial stability and achieving goals and achieving healthy goals. And so he's able to keep a logical perspective and not become overzealous in the search for public acclaim. And so the emperor's wisdom is to be calm and control the emotions and put the focus on your resources and become a great manager. So you be a manager of your time, a manager of your finances, and to use a methodical approach to do that. And this is going to help you to create a grounded energy. And that will give you that sense of security. The illusion that if you get enough public acclaim and if you achieve enough, then you're going to feel secure. That's an illusion. That's an illusion that needs to be left behind. What will really give you that sense of security is this methodical, logical approach to achieving attainable goals. And when you see yourself achieving your goals in your life, take that moment to appreciate that you have accomplished that. Appreciate your own accomplishments. And then you can be well grounded in your approach with others. Okay, and then finally, we're looking for the way out of this situation. So how do you finally put it to rest? And the card we have here is the Knight of Wands, who does not at all look calm or well-measured, but that's okay. Because what we're talking about with the Knight of Wands is taking the energy of inspiration, taking that out into the world, and creating your endeavor. So when you have your excuse me, when you have the foundation that the Emperor provides, then are you able to go out and create what you want to create with the healthy expectations, the healthy goals, and then be so proud of what you have accomplished and what you have made in the world. Okay, so we are going to turn to the Season of the Witch to get some advice cards before leaving the reading. And your first card is Journey. This journey card is about finding your life path. Okay. And so this card asks you to trust in the process. Trust that life is leading you somewhere good. There's going to be challenges, lessons, and hardships along the way. But each one gives your soul an important opportunity to grow and to learn from that experience. So there's gifts in everything that you go through. And so if you can learn to look at moments that you might perceive as failures is in this way, and you learn to take what you can that's valuable out of that experience, then you learn to balance out that energy of needing to be the best and seek the approval and public acclaim. Okay. Our next card from this deck is Protection. And so let's take a moment to consider. This card is to let you know that your spiritual team is present and always there protecting you. Even when you've gone through difficult experiences, they haven't left you. They're there with you, protecting you and walking the path alongside you along the way. So it might be very difficult for you to let go of this drive. It may be a way that you have to find yourself, your identity. But do not fear letting go. You are protected in the process. And you will be safe as you make the change that you need to make. And it's no small thing. When we're going through a change, there's great feelings of insecurity. You can always reach out to your spirit team for support during that time. All right, this concludes our reading for Quoth the Raven, and I hope that you have gained something valuable from it. If you have, please hit the like button at the bottom of the screen. And if you would like to see more Halloween-themed readings, then go to my channel, Mooncat Tarot, and visit the Halloween Readathon playlist. There you will find all the readings that I've done to date, and more will continue to be made all the way up and through Halloween night. For now, I just want to say thank you for watching. I appreciate your support, and I hope to see you in another video. For those of you who chose the Raven in Flight, this is your reading. Welcome to Quoth the Raven, Nevermore. Look at what it is in your life that you are doing, or what people around you, or what experiences, or what patterns of behavior are no longer serving. And this is what needs to be left behind. So sometimes when we are looking at the things in life that we are doing that are not in our best interest, it can be a very difficult thing to face, a very difficult thing to hear. But that is what this reading is about. The Raven is the perfect companion for doing this kind of work, because the Raven is a psychopomp, which means that it travels between the physical and the spiritual, and it guides us as we do the same. And so what we're doing now is a very challenging look into the shadow self, into the part of ourself that we would prefer to keep hidden, but which must be confronted in order to heal. So again, I will tell you one more time that if this is a message you're not ready to hear, perhaps another reading would be better for you. For now, let's continue ahead, if you're still with me, and we will begin. I've laid out 5 tarot cards, and I've given each a purpose, and each one has a purpose in relation to the shadow aspect that we're trying to discover today. And so for card number 1, we have what the issue is. What is it that is holding you back or weighing you down? And then in card number 2 is what in the recent past, what influences have created this issue? What did it come out of? Then in card number 3, what is the weakness within you that has allowed this issue to take hold? And in card number 4, what is the step that you need to take to begin to heal? The first step. Then card number 5, what is the way out of this situation so that you can leave it behind and never to return? Before we turn over the tarot cards, I'm going to pull an oracle card from the Halloween Oracle, just to give us an overall theme for the reading. And your card is Barbe, Sweetness and Synergy. So this is the sweet bread that would be made as an Irish tradition around this time of year. But the bread would have little things baked into it, like a coin or a ring or a pea. And these little things would serve as oracles. What element you found in your slice would foretell what you would experience in the coming year. That's one of the oracle traditions of this time of year. Okay. So for this card coming out as the theme of this reading, understanding the perspective that this reading is taking, then the interpretation here is that there may be a lot of concern over what the future holds. Let's take a look at the first card to see exactly what the issue is that you're dealing with. The first card we have is the Six of Cups. This is a card of nostalgia, of remembering the experiences of childhood. So, as this being the issue that you're dealing with, then what we're talking about here is being stuck in a phase. Being stuck, it may not be all the way back to childhood, but being stuck in a moment that you're not able to move on from. Okay. So sometimes we get stuck at like a certain age of development and we just don't move forward, or we don't for a time move forward through the phases naturally because something is blocking that, something is getting in the way of being able to do that. So next we're going to look to the source of this issue. And here we have the Three of Wands. And so what's happening is what you're facing. It's like you're facing this chasm, and you're facing it because you're at the precipice. You're at this moment of a life-changing event, like a graduation or a promotion or getting married. There's some major life-changing event that you're facing, and you're fearing the change. You're resisting that. So the reason why is because you're not sure what lies beyond it. You're not sure what's there. Okay. And so the tendency is to run away from the unknown back to the safety of what is known. Okay, so then in card number 3, what is this weakness that is bringing this issue out for you? And the answer here is death. Now, the death card doesn't literally mean death. What it means is transformation. And so, yes, you're facing this transformation, and it's frightening to the ego because it feels like an ego death. You're perhaps not ready to transform, and yet the time has come. And so this fear of changing, this fear of becoming, of not knowing what you might become next, is what is keeping this issue around you. And so what is the first step that you can take to break this cycle and to get out of it? And the answer here is the Ten of Wands. So each and every aspect of this change, every single aspect of your life that might be affected by it, is yet another burden that you are carrying, yet another burden that keeps you from being able to sleep at night, yet another anxiety. And the way forward is to lighten that load. You need to set these anxieties down and let them go. But how do you do that? So instead of trying to see the whole picture all at once, it's better to focus on the next achievable goal, or just what is the next step to take. And taking it one step at a time, you will find it much easier to move forward. And so now we're looking for what is the way out of the situation so that you can leave it behind. The answer here is the Ace of Wands. And so what this card tells you is that what you need is to get inspired, get excited about life again. Instead of fearing the next cycle of life, get excited about what it's going to bring for you. What are you going to create? What shape is it going to take? Allow yourself to feel energized by that, and allow that energy to help carry you forward. If you just remember that change brings gifts. So you're entering marriage, and that can cause anxiety, but it might also come with beautiful, wonderful returns. Having a loving partner in your life, having children, perhaps. I understand this can also be another anxiety, but what about the beautiful aspect of it? So instead of fearing what comes ahead and trying to see the big picture, feel excited about the changes coming up because of what good experiences you're going to have, and get excited about what you can create and do in the world. And then take it one step at a time so that you don't get overwhelmed. Before we leave the reading, I'm going to turn to the Season of the Witch Oracle so that we can have a little guidance before we go. Your first oracle card is Cauldron. The Cauldron says that it's about mixing things together to get the appropriate outcome, and that sometimes we need to try more than once to get it right. And so this is to say that there's no need to fear failure, because you just try again. You just get up and try again. And then the next oracle card for you is Altar. And this card is about creating a sacred space so that you can receive spiritual guidance on your path. This could be a physical space, like an actual area of your home that you go to be inspired to a spiritual state, or it could just mean doing that internally and opening up a space within to receive your guidance from Spirit. Okay, this concludes the reading, Quoth the Raven. I hope that you have found something valuable here, and if you have, please select the like button at the bottom of the video. If you're interested in other Halloween-themed readings, go to my channel, Mooncat Tarot, and check out the Halloween Readathon playlist. I've been posting a video every night for the whole week leading up to Halloween. There are 6 other videos with interesting, fun Halloween themes that you can view there. If you want to know when a new video is coming out, subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell that will let you know when the next video has posted. For now, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate being able to give these messages to you, and I hope to catch you in another video.